So apparently Manchester United have already secretly decided behind the scenes that they will let Ruben Amorim go at the end of the season. They don't want to sack him mid-season, but they're potentially ready to let him go at the end of the season and having doubts if he is the long-term man for the job. Now, what's interesting about this news is reports came out today that Glasner will leave Crystal Palace at the end of the season. He's not going to renew his contract. And we know that Glasner's been heavily linked to Manchester United. We know that he would quite like the Manchester United job if given the opportunity. And we know that INEOS have looked at him as an Amorim alternative. There's now news that we want to replace Amorim with Glasner at the end of the season. Now, this is interesting news because surely, if we were going to make that decision, we'd make it at the end of the season. Because there's a small possibility Amorim could turn it around and we could have a very good season and we could sit here and be saying, actually, let's give Amorim one more season. Or it could be a shite show and we might have to sack him mid-season. And then maybe someone else comes in as interim, does well, gets the job. You never know. But David Ornstein says some different stuff. And I'm going to give my thoughts on that news because David Ornstein says different. And I think David Ornstein probably is more informed than Indy Cala and the other Spanish sources going about and saying this. I want to talk about that news. Obviously, I want to talk about leaks. United are not happy about more leaks coming out about formation and changes. There's transfer news coming out that we're going to make an offer for Semenyo and all of that. We're in for Baleba. We really like him. Romano has confirmed that. And we're going to talk about the latest on Bruno Fernandes. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. And welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, update, roundup show, where if you're new to the channel, basically on the channel, every evening, I make a 10-minute video that comes out around 10 p.m, 10:30 at night, that rounds up all the news, transfer news, and everything into 10 minutes if you don't have time to watch multiple live streams and stuff throughout the day. And obviously, we're going to start with this Glasner news. Breaking! Crystal Palace coach Oliver Glasner will not renew his contract with the club. Palace have now set their sights on Getafe manager and will offer him the project he desires. First of all, I can't see Palace going for the Getafe manager because he is the most negative manager I've ever seen. Like, he will make Arteta ball look exciting when Arsenal set up against Man City that one time. Like, so negative. Second of all, no Ornstein, no Romano, no British source update on this. It's come out from a Spanish source. So you have to take it with a pinch of salt. However, it is believed that he's not going to renew his contract and it is believed he is going to leave Crystal Palace. They're now saying breaking, he is leaving Crystal Palace. La, 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 la. Now, why is this relevant? Because he's been linked to Manchester United. He's been linked to the Ruben Amorim replacement. And there's now reports coming out from Indy Cala and Spanish sources that Ruben Amorim is to leave Manchester United at the end of the season and Glasner is desperate for the job. La, 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 la. Now, Indy Cala are confidently claiming that Ruben Amorim will not be the Manchester United manager next season. And they say while club officials will deny this, they stand firm in the information from their sources that internally there's a growing belief that Amorim isn't the right man, and they have strong internal sources that Amorim will be sacked at the end of the season. And Oliver Glasner wants the job, and there's pressure mounting on Amorim. La, 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 la. Now, as I always say, take what Indy Cala says with a pinch of salt. Yes, they have got things right. They've also got a lot of things wrong. Could they be saying this story because they're jumping on the news that Glasner's not going to renew his contract and he's been linked to Man United? I don't know. What I will say is Man United will either sack Amorim mid-season or make a decision at the end of the season. I don't think Man United are going to sit here and say, we'll keep him to the end of the season, and at the end of the season we're going to sack him and bring in Glasner, when we can't predict what's going to happen between now and the end of the season. I don't think we're going to be doing any secret work to get Glasner done now and get Amorim out the door in summer, because Amorim might have a good end to the season. We've got a good tack. He showed adaptation. And you know what? The Bournemouth game is the happiest I've been with Amorim in a game we haven't won. Because Amorim in the Bournemouth game did three things I've been wanting him to do. Adapt. He did that. Try and win the game and attack and not bore me. He did that. He entertained me versus Bournemouth. And third of all, he made the right substitution calls. Maino on, attackers on. Those three things, if Amorim keeps doing that, I would be more happy with him. However, you could say, yeah, but we're still really bad out of possession and he's got the basic wrongs. True, he does need the midfielders as well to help him. I don't think any decision should be made on Amorim until the end of the season if we're not planning to sack him mid-season. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no point saying we'll sack him at the end of the season and then we'll bring in this guy. Wait till the end of the season, wait how he does. If it's really bad in February, you sack him. If it's really good in February, you go, whoa. Do you know what I mean? Do I think Amorim is the guy that's going to take Man United forward long term? No. Would I like to be wrong? Yes. Just because, other than the Bournemouth game, it has been bad, negative football. He has been anti-youth. I would like to see a more sustainable game plan from him, but he has a few games to try and deliver that. However, David Ornstein says different. David Ornstein said the club fully believe in Amorim and back him to turn things around. Now, he said that yesterday. Indy Calla have obviously said what I reported today, but he claimed yesterday that the club fully back Amorim. Now, what I'm hearing is that the club are always going to publicly back Amorim. If they don't back Amorim, they're not going to let that information get out, because they know if they publicly back Amorim and Jim Ratcliffe publicly backs Amorim, the squad are aware that they back Amorim and the squad know that they can't throw another manager under the bus. So Man United are always going to put out to Ornstein, Romano, every source out there that they back Ruben Amorim. Even if they don't, they will. Now, there is people inside Man United that have doubts. There is people inside Man United, Jason Wilcox, pushing Amorim to move to a 4-3-3. There is people inside Man United that have doubts on Amorim, but they're not going to let any of those doubts be known. So Ornstein and Romano are constantly going to be briefed that they back Amorim until the day that he's sacked. Because the minute Ornstein and Romano start saying they don't back Amorim, they're looking at replacements, they know that the dressing room can change and the dressing room can easily influence the next few performances, and they don't want that. So that's my sort of stance on it. I think Amorim is probably going to leave at the end of the season. I don't believe that Indy Calla have inside information, but I think if we get to the end of the season, we finish 7th, there's another manager available, INEOS aren't convinced, I think he could very easily leave at the end of the season, unless we have a good end to the season. Now let's talk about the Semenyo news, because we've been linked to Semenyo a lot lately, and a lot of people are saying, where's this coming from? Well, it started from Sky through Leo and Rob Dorset. United are firmly in the race from Semenyo. He has a 65 million release clause, and while United weren't planning to sign another forward in January, it's an opportunity that they will consider. Now, what I know about Man United in the January window is this. Man United have a list of players that they want. Pretty much all those players they won't be able to get in January, they'll only be able to get in the summer, so they don't want to sign people for the sake of it. However, if there's a player available in January that maybe isn't a priority because midfield is clear priority and it's a good opportunity, they will go for it. Man United want a midfielder. We all know the next signing we need to make is a midfielder. We might not be able to get a midfielder in January because we want Anderson, Baleba, Wharton. None of them are available in January. So United are like, well, we can't get them in January anyway, so we're going to get them in the summer. We might as well get Semenyo in January because we can, and we wanted him in the summer 2026 anyway, potentially. Ben Jacobs said that we do have active interest in Semenyo, but Semenyo is relaxed about his future and waiting to see who comes in for him. It was then said by Fabrizio Romano that many people are asking about Man United and Semenyo because Man United love the player, Amorim loves the player, and he had direct contact with the player last summer, but United already invested big money in Cunha and Boomer last summer, so there's nothing concrete. But it has been said that we love Semenyo and we could make a move because Man United said they're only going to do business in January if it's an opportunity. This is an opportunity. Now, we need a midfielder. Now, I think we should look at João Gomez. Potentially, you look at someone like Siddiqui, see if you can do anything in January. But again, we don't know if they're available in January. Romano said Anderson and Wharton are on the list, but from what I can say is Carlos Baleba has always seen as the top target by Ruben Amorim with his quality and intensity, something the coach wants. Now, The Athletic is saying that Elliot Anderson is now the number one because of his form this season. Romano is saying that Baleba is the number one. I think we want both. A bit like Mbeumo and Cunha, I think we want Baleba. I think we want Elliot Anderson. I think Elliot Anderson is probably number one, but I think Baleba is seen as realistic. It's believed inside United that Baleba will say yes. With Elliot Anderson, they think he could go City. Rich Fay has come out and said that despite reports today that United asked Bruno to leave in the summer, United have reiterated today that they have no desire for the club to sell Bruno Fernandes. He's still part of the long-term plans despite age, was said by Rich Fay. And then last but not least, the leaks that come out. United have launched an internal inquiry into details of how Amorim's planned tweak to the 3-2-4-1 system leaked. The leaks Monday afternoon raising fears Bournemouth had an advance notice of the game plan. Maybe, I don't know. Club chiefs are determined to identify the source and prevent future leaks. So obviously it came out that Ruben Amorim was making adjustments and this and that, and United are annoyed that this has come out. Well, first of all, Ruben Amorim said many times in his press conference he was going to change it up. We'd known he was going to change it up at AFCON. You invited journalists to training. They could see how he was setting up in training. Look, what I will say is since Garnacho has left, The leaks have stopped. There's not been many leaks at all. I used to get sent by 2 people, not to do with the club. These were people that got leaks from a source at the club, and then they give information to me. There's 2 people I know that will send me information about Manchester United. I used to know the starting 11, 24 hours before the match, and it would be bang on. And I was told Aiden Heaven's going to start this game. This season, I haven't had that. Last season, I had a lot of info come to me through people who've obviously got it from someone else, because I wasn't getting it directly from anyone at the club. But I don't get that anymore this season. The leaks have really stopped. And I think, the coincidence is Garnacho and his brother. I'm not saying that Garnacho and his brother were the leaks. But obviously, any time there is a little leak, they're trying to figure out who that is. Yeah. Anyway, they're not happy at the leaks. They have stopped. I'm not concerned. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.